I'm the sports professor Rick Horrow with Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that under normal circumstances doesn't take itself too seriously. This week an exception. Last week, the world lost a seminal statesman in Muhammad Ali, and while Ali's role as a spectacularly talented athlete, social agent of change, and humanitarian are being commemorated worldwide, let's not forget that he also profoundly influenced the sports, entertainment, and media industries. In a special show devoted entirely to the greatest of all time, we'll examine how. We'd like to thank Reuters, Reuters Worldwide, Reuters.com, and Reuters International for making this show available as it airs and is still posted on those various websites. If you want to see more, tune in to Reuters, and for them and to them, we are grateful. Each week we bring you insights from the playmakers, deal makers, and rule makers in the world of sports. I'll give you my take on some of the items of the week using my 30 years of experience doing deals for teams, leagues, and players in the $750 billion business of sports. Plus, we'll talk with a central figure in the sports world. Let's get started. This week, a special episode about the life and career of Muhammad Ali, who profoundly influenced the worlds of sports, entertainment, and media. Ahead, a discussion of Ali's impact on sports television, the market for Ali memorabilia, and his impact on social justice. First, a few details about the man before we get to our guests. $50 to $80 million. Ali's net worth at the time of his death, according to websites like Celebrity Net Worth, much of them from selling an 80% stake in his licensing company, CKX Inc., in 2006. Whatever the actual figure, it's a far cry from what boxing champions like Floyd Mayweather earn today. His fortune estimated at about $500 million, according to Forbes. Ali did receive $6 million for the Thrilla in Manila in 1975, 1 year after earning a bit over $5 million for the Rumble in the Jungle in Zaire. Floyd Mayweather profiting from pay-per-view fights, he has the champ to thank. Ali's fights around the globe challenged the TV industry to come up with ways to beam them back live to adoring fans around the world. The lessons learned led to the first pay-per-view fight in 1973 between Joe Frazier and George Foreman.
This time of year, flying pests seem to bother us more than normal. I'm Danny Lipper with tips for today's homeowner. Stay tuned and we'll talk about dealing with wasp nests and bee stings right after this.
Concerned about grout staining? Worry no more. New Fusion Pro Single Component Grout from Custom Building Products is a revolutionary new grout with unsurpassed stain resistance built into the formulation. It resists common household stains, and it never needs to be sealed like standard grout. And unlike other stain-resistant grouts on the market, such as epoxy or urethane, Fusion Pro is easy to work with and clean. So no matter if you're tiling yourself or hiring a professional, ask for Fusion Pro Grout for a beautiful, long-lasting tile installation.
The best time to destroy a wasp nest is at sunset using a spray designed to shoot a stream of insecticide about 20 feet away. That way you can use them from a safe distance. Make sure you wear light colors and no scented lotion or perfume that could telegraph your arrival. They start diving at you. Don't swat at the insects. Be still or move away slowly. If you do get stung, remember this. Honeybees sting once, leaving their stinger behind. To remove it, you need to scrape sideways over the stinger to prevent getting more venom into the skin. Bumblebees, yellow jackets, wasps, and hornets have smooth stingers and can sting many, many times. Their venom also attracts others, so get away quickly and wash the sting with soap and water. Then you can treat the pain and itch with cortisone cream and ice. I'm Danny Lipford with tips for today's homeowner.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Hey, what's up? We love Burger King grilled dogs. They're made with 100% beef, and they're 100%. They're so good, they make us want to sing like... I can't believe it. Burger King made a grilled dog. Made with 100% beef. Flame grilled anytime you want. You can try it in classic or chili cheese.
Flame grilled and made with 100% beef. Get a grilled dog now at participating Burger King restaurants. Flame grilling hot dogs since 2016. Price and participation vary.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard special show on Muhammad Ali, life and times, sports, entertainment, media, television, life. Ali always had a memorable line at the ready to promote his fights and himself. He was a master showman who even gave the World Wrestling Federation a boost by participating in the main event of the first WrestleMania at Madison Square Garden in 1985. But the bluster was backed by the boxing. He's considered one of the best fighters ever. Now, more on Muhammad Ali's impact on sports, television, and society. My conversation with Ross Greenberg, former head of HBO Sports, who currently heads his own production company. You obviously have a very significant perspective from the HBO Sports angle, president from 2000 to 2011, but also know more about boxing than almost anybody alive. So just top down, Ali's legacy in the ring from the television perspective.
Well, he changed the dynamics. He changed the way television looked at boxing. He and his power as a fighter initiated the closed-circuit boxing event, which brought televised fights away from the general networks and into the marketplace where people would gather at arenas, stadiums, and whatnot to watch on a big screen a Muhammad Ali fight. So right then and there, he changed the business dynamic of the sport. And boxing's always been at the forefront and ahead of its time in terms of generating revenue because you have so many significant greedy promoters and managers that want to accumulate as much money as possible. So it's always looked for different forms of distribution. So Ali set the stage to engineer that change. And what it did was, Jerry Parenchio in 1971 created Ali Frazier 1. And as a promoter, he walked away with tens of millions of dollars. Two fighters made $2.5 million each. But by firing up all these big screens around the country and indeed firing up the fight around the world, he was able to generate, Muhammad Ali was unquestionably, the largest audience in the history of sports in the world.
You're in a position as HBO Sports guru during time, 20 years after he fought, really in a serious way, let's say. His legend was enduring even then. Have you ever seen a celebrity that sustained with so many generations, basically two-thirds of his life after he left the ring?
Well, I think there are certain figures that transcend sports. He was obviously at the forefront of that. So, his legacy will live on for hundreds and hundreds of years the way Babe Ruth has. And I think that's because of the impact, different than Babe Ruth, his impact around the world and what he stood for as a humanitarian will live on forever. And, what I think he's proven is that, you can step out of the ring, you can lose fights, but you can maintain kind of a glorious, legendary status as not only a human being, but as a businessman. I'm struck. People are starting to understand, and I heard Don King talking about it. He was one of the great promoters in history. He was never a promoter of boxing, but in fact, no one promoted a fight like Muhammad Ali. His gift of jab out of his mouth, it was legendary, and creating that poetry and sharp of mind, he was able to just take everyone's attention and direct it right at the fight that was coming up. But his legacy will always be, his humanitarian image and what he did for people the world over and taking the downtrodden up, and also for himself kind of proving that you can be an outspoken black man in white American society and kind of overpower those that are trying to keep you down.
And the Ali Center's legacy will testify to that for centuries to come.
Yeah,
it is interesting. You look back at a lot of his comments. He would have been one of the best rappers in the history of the world, should he have chosen to do that. And frankly, when you take a look at some of his comments, how did it help the transcending from network to cable, the promotion, the prepackaging, that this was his own marketing agency? You said that he and Frazier got a very small cut of that first pay-per-view fight, but it's easy for him to be the marketer of it. You just crank him up and let him go.
Yeah, and that's what promoters understood very early on with Ali, whether it was King or Arum or whoever was promoting a Muhammad Ali fight. They knew that, just give him a microphone, put a press conference together, and let him rip. And that's exactly what used to happen because, understand a couple of things. In terms of his business, 3.5 years he was in exile. Prior to him going into exile, no one talks about this fight, but he fought a guy named Cleveland Williams. That Muhammad Ali was the greatest fighter that ever climbed into a boxing ring. I don't care what the division. Yes, I have great respect for Sugar Ray Robinson, Ed Nauseam, and others. But I am telling you, if you watch that fight, you will see the brilliance of Muhammad Ali. That Muhammad Ali was taken away from us for 3.5 years. God knows what he would have generated if he was fighting for those 3.5 years and beating, Joe Frazier, who he probably would have beaten at that prime part of his career easily. I have no clue as to how transcendent he would be, but it would have been scary to see that athlete in the ring. The fact is that even without that, he was able to fight, in 3 Frazier fights, which were 3 of the most significant fights in boxing history. He fought the Foreman fight in Zaire, which became maybe the biggest upset next to maybe Tyson Douglas in heavyweight history and boxing history. And he just had a litany of incredibly important Norton fights and others that really took the sport to another level that we'll never see again. And I've always anticipated over the last 20 years when he did pass what kind of impact it would have. I kind of, in my own mind's eye, I predicted that this would happen, that people would finally understand in death how huge this man was, how transcendent he was. And I think he did all of that because, I just saw a clip of him today. He was 50 years old and he had just quit. 10 years earlier. But he said his goal now is to spread his word of peace and love and harmony the world over. Now, unfortunately, Parkinson's didn't let him do that for the last 20 years in terms of speaking his mind, but he was animated and so good with people as he, went around the country and didn't speak but carried a big stick, and we'll never forget him.
Interesting. Ross Greenberg, perspective from HBO that no one's seen. You see Michael Jordan, you see Babe Ruth, you make some comments about transcendence, but those folks probably wouldn't stop wars. Maybe the Pope and certainly Muhammad Ali could stop wars, and I guess that's all you need to say.
That's a great point. I mean, the fact is, he believed in his principles, he believed in his convictions, whether it was the Vietnam War or peace around the world or taking people from poverty and giving them hope. He believed in that so heartfelt and so, intensely that that was what guided him. Whereas when you mention Ruth and Jordan, great men, great athletes, but the sports themselves drove those men. And, Ali had both. And incredibly rare. There's one other athlete that I had the opportunity to meet in my lifetime and become very close to, and that's Arthur Ashe, who I thought of in the last days, because other than Ali, that's the only other man that I thought kind of took his platform and reached out and kind of, and Billie Jean King, I would say, who I've also become very close to. Those three, in my mind, have changed the world.
Great perspective. Thank you, Muhammad Ali, for your truly authentic life, an example to the world. You first used the power of your fists in the ring, and later used the power for peace and justice. You will forever personify the power of sport.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now, 800-480-5708. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-480-5708. That's 800-480-5708. Again, 800-480-5708.
Let's look at the business of Muhammad Ali, specifically the memorabilia market. I talked with Brandon Steiner, president of the collectibles company Steiner Sports. Steiner's been a partner through Omnicom, which bought my company and his.
How did Ali's image set him apart in the context of the day-to-day business of selling stuff?
I think it's very similar to him, and there's always a controversy whether you can compare sports to business. But I think when you differentiate yourself and you do things that are meaningful to people, that you create an emotional connection with people, those things are a big part of what really changes your mind about whether to buy one product over another. An emotional connection, the product has a difference, and
you got to have some balls. I mean, Muhammad Ali, in the peak of his career, did something that, stood up for something, got behind a cause, and continued to go and fight that cause. But he was a showman. He was an entertainer. We've seen a lot of those come and go, but, he really captured a whole lot of different things in one career and meant a lot to a lot of people. So for me, he was different from that fact that besides the popularity, was international. There was nobody on the planet that didn't want some connection to him. And at the same time, licensing was really strong for him, which is not always true with a lot of athletes. Some athletes have some marketability, but they don't have licensing ability. He was likability, credibility, licensing ability, marketing ability. He was the whole thing. There's not going to be many Muhammad Alis in our time. But he was a guy also that was serving. He served every day. Whenever I'd run into him, he would have a stack of a couple hundred autographs on him, on different prayer pamphlets and different things he was handing out. He was perpetually on the road. I remember his schedule was incredibly hectic, going to different parts of the world, not always for money and not always from a financial or capital gain. He's a special guy.
Let's talk about the prayer pamphlets piece of this. That is interesting because we've had the guys from the Muhammad Ali Center on and the life after Ali and what the legacy is and the thought leadership conferences and the tie into UNESCO, United Nations, and things that will be obvious 5, 10, 15 years from now, not just today. What's your favorite Muhammad Ali moment relative to him as a worldwide ambassador?
Oh, well, there's so many, but, I'm a little crazy this way, but I love this time with Malcolm X. He spent time with a lot of radical people that there wasn't always, in the pretty, and certainly, all the trash talking with Frazier. Although, getting to know Frazier, I kind of got a little sour on that because as much as I enjoyed Ali, trash talking and beating down Frazier was comical, but I think it took its toll on Frazier. So it became less of my favorite moment. My favorite moment, I think for him, for me watching him was really just, deciding that he was going to go stand up and go to jail as opposed to fight. It's a big give, for something that he didn't want to do. That's, to go to jail, I'm sure he could have finagled his way out of not having to go fight in harm's way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And, he could have avoided jail time and kept his career going and everything else. And so you got to understand the magnitude. So a lot of people kind of take a sideways approach to that, but I think that was a big deal for him to, basically give up 2-3 years of his career and at the same time go to prison and go fight the fight.
Of course it is, and people will realize that transcends, and that may be one of his long-term abilities to stop wars. Michael Jordan and Babe Ruth would stop traffic, but Ali might have been able to stop wars, so it's kind of an interesting perspective. Give me your business hat for just a couple of minutes on this one. He and his wife eventually sold an 80% stake in creative control to CKX, of Greatest of All Time. They were talking about, again, newspaper reports, you would know better, $4 to $7 million in annual revenue, endorsements, and Adidas, Electronic Arts, all of that. The memorabilia business, he's on the top 100 celebrities list. He's the best ever at celebrity as well. Is he now well-positioned to take advantage of the legacy that's been created from now your perspective, the memorabilia perspective, the estate perspective?
I think so. I think when first of all, it's Under Armour now. It was Adidas. Under Armour has done a nice job. They've been putting out some of his products all along, and I see Muhammad Ali jewelry, and there's a bunch of things that'll still be done. He'll be used in commercials and advertisements. His legacy. So I think he's in good position. Listen, a lot's been done. The guy definitely, nothing but the best for him, but he lived a lot longer than anyone thought he was going to live when they did that deal as many as 15 years ago. So I'm not saying they did that deal thinking he was or wasn't going to live, but there was a lot that's transpired that's already happened. So for a lot more to happen post him passing, I don't know. But, there's talk about 30 or 40,000 autographs in the till that they've collected and put away over time. I know that he can only sign up to a certain point. He really stopped signing, I think 3 or 4 years ago. So there's a lot of good collectibles that have been put together. But Muhammad Ali signed a lot of autographs. He was a very active signer, from the memorabilia business. A lot of his stuff from his game used, things from his fights got either stolen or sold and is out there in the marketplace. But there are some things that, that company still has from proprietary rights that's still yet to be done. But a lot of books and photo books and a lot of things have been done. A lot of great collectibles have been done. I mean, Muhammad, again, was a very active autograph signer, so a lot of his autograph stuff is out there. As you can see right now, I've been searching around looking, and you see thousands and thousands of items out there, so you need to go and buy something and be really careful. And also there's some bad fraudulent stuff out there. So this is a time when you actually want to wait and let the market kind of shake out and see who's got the real autographs, if you want to get something real, or particularly if you want to get something like his contract or game-used stuff from his fights. This is probably not the time when you want to buy something.
But as the world's great authenticator on all of this stuff, do you see, and I guess there are some estate issues too here relative to almost to kind of like Prince and his thousands of undistributed audio in his basement somewhere. Is this the same kind of thing? Are we going to see some really good stuff trickling out over time?
No, I don't think so. I think a lot of it's already trickled out, although they are sitting with a bunch of game-used, when I say game-used, artifacts that he used from his old house, rings that he has fought in. There's some things to trickle out, but not, a lot of his fights and all the videos and all that stuff is out there already. Again, a lot of the licensed stuff has been done. If it's out there now, it's not. I don't expect to see anything riveting to come out. I don't. Again, there's definitely a warehouse full of autographed stuff and licensed stuff that is yet to be distributed. I think the name and legacy goes on for a long, long time. Very similar in the Jackie Robinson, and maybe even bigger. I think there's plenty of other things to be done. But remember, the documentary's been done. The movie's been done. A lot of stuff's been done. I think it carries forward, even though those things have been done. But I don't think anybody's going to wake up and go, "Wow, I can't believe that they're finally doing this for him." Or doing this with him, with his license or his legacy.
And finally, more on the legacy of Muhammad Ali outside the ring. I spoke with Eli Wolf. He heads the Inclusive Sports Initiative at the Institute for Human-Centered Design in Boston. He also directs the Sport and Development Project at Brown University and has worked on many projects with the Muhammad Ali Center.
You've told me that you were a member of the U.S. Paralympic soccer team and a member of the national team. How did you transform from there to being involved with all of these elements of social change and then specifically Ali?
No, excellent. I had a chance to compete as an athlete at the Olympic level, and then I think from that stage I got connected to Richard Lapchick, who's sort of been the godfather of sport and social change and social issues, and he's really become my mentor, really opened my eyes and the doors to see the power of sport and how sport can be a vehicle for social change. And so my work has really focused on issues of disability and social change, but then it also got involved with just athletes, the power that athletes have to have a transformative power in their communities and their societies. And so Richard was the one who introduced me to the Ali Center and the Ali family. And then about 4 years ago, we initiated this forum, this international forum on the role of athletes and power of social change. And so, really it's taken off. A lot of athletes, a lot of ambassadors from around the world, really having that space to have that conversation, to really realize that legacy of Muhammad Ali and how he's really served. And so, really it's really been a sad couple of days, of course, but also inspiring in many ways to see all over the world how he has had such an impact on young people, on athletes, and how they think about them. You're seeing tweets, you're seeing messages from athletes, NBA players, professional athletes, Olympians. It's really been amazing to see that the power that Muhammad Ali has had in our lives and in the world.
The Social Change Forum that I know you were involved with in conjunction with the Ali Center this last April with the theme Creating a Declaration for Human Rights in Sports, a think tank for scope, impact, and framing a declaration of human rights in sports, put some meat on the bones, what does that mean, and what did the conference do?
Each year we've had a forum with a different topic. One year was focusing more on the media and conversations in the media about the role of athletes. This past year on the declaration was a little bit more policy focused in terms of, what policies do sport organizations have, the ways that athletes can really utilize their platforms to speak about, human rights and social change issues, and how are we really coming together as a global community around social change and human rights. And
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, special legacy on Muhammad Ali. Speak with you in a couple of minutes.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again, 877-663-7126.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply, subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Muhammad Ali meant so many things to so many people. Excited and honored to visit the Muhammad Ali Center in Louisville 4 days after his passing, and speaking with Eli Wolf, who deals with the Inclusive Sports Initiative at the Institute for Human-Centered Design in Boston, development project at Brown University, and had a specific interest in the Ali Center.
And really, it's a chance for there's not really that many places where you can actually be in the location of the Ali Center and actually have that history of that legacy and that inspiration. I think that's really the big thing with athletes is that they're really oftentimes looking for support, looking for a community. Many athletes that are doing social change work are oftentimes isolated. They don't really have that community. And so that's really been a big part of what we've been trying to do is really just build that community so that athletes know that they can be with others. And also that there's a spectrum of this type of work, that it's from going into the community on a couple days a week basis to actually taking up a political or social issue on, in terms of, like the Black Lives Matter or, things like that are more charged and require a little bit more commitment in terms of campaigning and things like that. So it's really a diverse range of topics, but it's always very inspiring, and it's always very important conversations and oftentimes lead to very tangible kind of actions, whether it's new programs, new organizations, new policies, all that kind of things kind of rolls out as part of the forum.
Well, and clearly it's important for athletes, but it's also important for society. And when you look at some of the people who are listed as supporters, you obviously as an organizer, but Greg Louganis involved, Nancy Hogshead involved, Olympians par excellence, Charles Gwynn of the Muhammad Ali Center involved with the organization. So tell me a little bit specifically about the Ali Center. You're not involved, but you're related, and so give us an idea of the force of that organization and what it might now do after Ali's passing.
Yeah, no, the Ali Center is really this amazing place. It's been around for many years already, and then I think now it's even going to take on an even more of a significance, more of a life in terms of the people. So I think it'll sort of become that mecca, if you will, of that center for sport and social justice. So the Ali Center has been created. It's been more of a museum. So when you go to the Ali Center, you can see a lot of the historical aspects of Muhammad Ali's life. They have an amazing video of his journey, a lot of really great inspirational quotes and experiences and exhibits. So that's really been an amazing part of the Ali Center. And they also host different events and different forums. And so, we basically had an honor and opportunity to start organizing the forum there at the Ali Center to bring people there. But the Ali Center, it really has an educational focus around the core principles, the core values of Muhammad Ali that include, all of his issues, particularly the ones around conviction and respect and dignity. Those are some of the core values that Muhammad Ali has really rallied around that bring people together. And again, another element of that has really been his role as a role model, his role as a mentor to young people, to other athletes, the other boxers and so forth. And that was why when we talked to him about doing a kind of a global initiative around mentorship, that really resonated. And Lonnie Ali and Muhammad and the whole family really got behind that idea around mentoring, in terms of that's an important part. You see that every day. You see athletes talking about, who were your mentors? How did you get inspired in your sport, both at a skill level as well as, how do you live your life both on and off the field? So I think that's really been an exciting initiative as well that will carry on, with Muhammad Ali's legacy. And the center, again, if you haven't been, I would encourage everyone to go, because especially anyone who's involved in sport in any way should definitely go there to be inspired and to learn that history of the sports culture.
Well, we all have kind of a duty to now, and hopefully this show in its own small way will help get the word out as well. I find it intriguing and frankly humbling that some of the info that I was made aware of in preparing for this relative to the Social Change Forum in conjunction with the Ali Center, when you take a look at what you call areas of inspiration, Convention on Rights of the Child, Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, UNESCO Charter on Sport, Physical Education, Physical Activity, Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women, against Apartheid, etc. And so this is clearly way, way, way beyond boxing, and a call for affiliations with UNESCO, the United Nations. So this is really heavy duty. It's not just I don't want to be negative by just calling it a think tank, but it's way beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that's really interesting in terms of sports as a whole is it's really this global movement of sport as the power of sport, sport as a vehicle for social change. It's really taking off globally. I mean, you're seeing thousands of organizations around the world really recognizing the role that sport has and the power that it has. I mean, you're seeing grassroots organizations, you're seeing professional organizations, you're seeing athletes. And so you're really seeing this movement. And really when you look back and seeing one of the pioneers or kind of a catalyst for this movement of seeing the power of sport, you can really look to Muhammad Ali. You can look to like the Billie Jean Kings and Tommy Smith and John Carlos. I mean, there's some athletes historically, but Muhammad Ali has really been one of those, if not the one, who is you can really point to say he was the inspiration, and he's been the one that has really left this legacy of what sport means in our world. And so, and really what you're seeing now is just as you're looking at how do all the areas of our society have important ramifications in terms of human rights, you know, sports is another area that we have to make sure that people have that respect, have that dignity, have their protections. And so I think that's where this is. I mean, I've been working with the United Nations now for the last, 10 years on a number of the committees. I helped to organize April 6th, which is the International Day of the Power of Sport for Development and Peace. And so, it's really interesting to be involved globally with all these international stakeholders. And then many of the conversations, many of the policy discussions, Muhammad Ali's name and his legacy is oftentimes evoked in terms of helping people concretize it to say, this is what we're talking about. This is how sport has this impact, that it goes way beyond just the playing field. It goes into all of our lives. And it's really important that young people, athletes, managers, stakeholders, that we all realize that sport has this power influence, that we have a responsibility for to take care for it, to make sure that ethical standards are there. And so there's a lot there that's really important.
So, Eli Wolf, thank you very much. Everybody talks about the money made at the Thrilla in Manila and his 61 fights in 21 years and the Holmes knockout and even the greatest of all time licensing. But when you take a look at the Ali Center, whose tagline is be great and do great things, you realize there's much more than dollars attached to it. Thank you very much.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, a tribute to Muhammad Ali, unparalleled in our lifetime. Eli Wolf, Brown University and University of Louisville. You heard him on our segment thanking Reuters yet again for allowing me to take keeping score and use it in our sports byline and iTunes and iHeart and all of the places that we should be going to get really significant radio for us. And this should be an international celebration of Muhammad Ali. Before we get into Bust, Boom, and Hope, which will turn into Hope, Hope, and Hope this week, I'd like to quote from Eli Wolf in a written eulogy to Muhammad Ali that he gave during the funeral ceremony, the interdisciplinary funeral ceremony, and the week's activities. He called it Authenticity, Muhammad Ali, and the Power of Sport. The word authenticity being thrown around a bit casually these days, a trending buzzword in the urban vernacular. We hear people make statements such as, quote, I'm just being me when they choose to act certain ways or express their opinions. But in the rush to use the term too cavalierly, let's not lose the deeper meaning of the word, and in turn, the impact of a truly authentic person who can make it. That person whose life we reflect on today, Muhammad Ali, and his passing gives us reason to examine the authentic life of a sporting icon who personified the meaning of the power of sport. Thinking of Muhammad Ali and remembering a man who was not afraid to take a stand and who was committed to being his authentic self. That's from Billie Jean King. Authenticity means that you're looking to make a real impact and develop deeper relationships to advance social and community change. Authenticity allows us to build meaningful relationships when we engage with communities around the world. And through authenticity, we can move beyond lip service and one-time appearances and create sustainable relationships that make a difference in the world. Authenticity in sport means you can demand and work to foster a safe and supportive environment to realize your true self while helping others in your sporting realm, including teammates, coaches, and sports administrators, to do the same. Authenticity in sport means that you can express yourself and share your ideas and beliefs with the world. This is how Muhammad Ali lived. Quote, Muhammad Ali was known as the greatest not just because of his 3 world heavyweight titles, but because he fought some of the fiercest battles outside the ring on the side of disenfranchised, the downtrodden, and disadvantaged. Muhammad Ali will certainly continue to inspire generations to come to take up his fight against prejudice, injustice, and discrimination. This, perhaps, will be his greatest legacy. That's from Kofi Annan. Through his authenticity, Muhammad Ali was able to activate the power of sport. He recognized his platform and brought authenticity to his message and his actions. We need to encourage more authenticity in sport. Muhammad Ali will continue to be a guiding light for the world both in and out of sport. He's an example for athletes and non-athletes alike. Speaking truth to power, as Ali so eloquently did, should be hailed and celebrated. How can we inspire more engagement and authenticity in sport? How can we continue to advance the power of sport to all corners of the world? Is it important that we give permission and continue to create a culture of social justice and social change through sport? This can be fostered and led by key athletes, coaches, and sport administrators, and aided by organizations dedicated to using sport to promote social good, including the Muhammad Ali Center in Louisville, Kentucky. Encouraging athletes to follow their dreams and passions must be seen to be an asset. Athlete activists who speak out against injustice and promote inclusion benefit not only themselves, but also their teammates, sport organizations, and the greater community. Muhammad Ali had the courage to be himself. His authenticity and outspokenness continues to inspire athlete activism the world over. So how can we realize and recognize what activates the power of sport and what components are needed to stimulate and foster the power of sport in communities around the world? In our view, authenticity at the top of the list. We see authenticity as a critical factor for success in leveraging the power of sport for social change. Other elements that work toward it: connection, emotion, joy, inspiration, beauty, and hope. The convergence of those elements encourage individuals to use the power of sport as a platform to promote positive social change. Muhammad Ali personified the sport. The words of Olympic sprinter John Carlos, who stood on the medal stand in 1968 Mexico City Summer Games with a black glove fist held high, expressed this so very well. Quote, Ali knew his purpose, acted on it, and brought about significant change. This is what we should all strive to do throughout our lives. John Carlos. We couldn't agree more.
We all know healthcare has changed drastically. It's quite the puzzle to sort through your options and find a health insurance plan that's affordable and maximizes your benefits. And you're now required by law to have health insurance, or you may pay a tax penalty. So let the Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. They offer plans from over 120 different companies and can even help you obtain government subsidies. Let them do all the research for you and show you how affordable health insurance can be, a service that's at no extra cost to you. Call now and learn your options to find affordable health insurance. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242. Health Markets Insurance Agency is a DBA or assumed name of Inspire Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is a licensed insurance agency in all 50 states and D.C. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service availability varies by state.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, stitches and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion hip settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again, 877-663-7126.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard special show on Muhammad Ali, life and times, sports, entertainment, media, television, life. Bust, Boom, and Hope is hope, and hope today for obvious reasons. Looking back at certain impacts that Muhammad Ali might have had that other people may not have noticed. How about, if not for Ali, relating to Mayweather, De La Hoya, Pacquiao, and other modern-day fighters? Their net worth is well over $100 million, but at the time of his death, Ali was thought to have a net worth of between 50 and 80, much of that from selling an 80% stake in his licensing company CKX in 2006 for a reported $50 million. Ali made $6 million from the Thrilla in Manila in 1975. Approximately 1 year after his $5.45 million payday for defeating George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle in Zaire. That's pocket change for Floyd Mayweather, the world's highest paid athlete according to Forbes. He paved the way for him, De La Hoya, Pacquiao, and all of those others whose net worth is over $100 million. Certainly Ali was the reason. Hope, if not for Ali, as far as sports promotion. Known as the Louisville Lip, the greatest, the people's champion, Ali brought vaudevillian verve to the business of selling fights. Who else could have quipped, if you signed to fight me, you need speed and endurance, but what you need most of all is to increase your insurance. The bottom line is Ali was special, one of a kind. Growing up in Miami, I remember seeing him early on training at Fifth Street Gym, which now unfortunately is a CVS pharmacy. Not really good, but that's where it is. And a hero that is Miami's own. He's also Chicago's own. He's also Louisville's own, and in many ways, the world's own. Very impressed at the Ali Center and looking at the areas corresponding with his 6 core principles: confidence, conviction, dedication, giving, respect, and spirituality. It's highlights of all of those in equal measure all across the museum and obviously all across life. The greatest will never be matched, and for that we should forever be grateful. Thanks again to our guests.